Task Force Shadow is an aviation unit based at Bagram Airfield. Its presence is vital, given the increase in enemy activity over the last year. The aviation company of the 101st Airborne here at Bagram Airfield is one of the busiest units in the country. They're constantly being called on every day to ferry troops and equipment all over the eastern part of Afghanistan. But there's one other part of their mission that's even more important, and it goes by the call sign Dustoff. Several times a day, sirens signal the need for emergency medical evacuation. On call at all times, this small team of highly trained pilots and medical personnel is ready to respond. Dwayne Taylor is a MEDEVAC helicopter co-pilot.
Basically, we're flying emergency room. We have everything that a patient needs in the back to stay alive, even all the way down to shocking that person to restart their heart.
It isn't long before the call comes in. A roadside bomb has hit a convoy south of Kabul. There are 6 urgent casualties. The crews rush to their aircraft, and moments later, we're airborne. The tension rises when we receive word that troops on the ground are receiving rocket and machine gun fire. It's expected to be a hot landing zone.
It's constantly running through my mind. Every single time we go to a point of injury that we could possibly be shot at or be attacked at while we're sitting there on the ground.
We touch down hard in a cloud of dust. Even before it clears, the wounded start to hobble aboard. That's when we get the terrible news. 2 soldiers of the 101st Airborne have died of their wounds. Over the radio, they're referred to as heroes. Emotions are high, and I drop my camera to help one of the wounded buckle in.
Hang in there, you'll be all right.
Then the soldiers returned with one more litter, one of those killed in action. That hero's name is Donnie Carwile, a first lieutenant who left his job as a policeman in Oxford, Mississippi, to lead a platoon here in Afghanistan. Back at home, his wife Jennifer and 2 young daughters would soon get the painful news that their lives have changed forever. But there wasn't time to grieve. On the way back to base, the flight surgeon and medics worked with grim efficiency to stabilize the wounded. Upon landing at the hospital, a team of doctors and nurses whisked the soldiers off to surgery. At the end of the day, I sat down with the platoon commander, Lieutenant Graham Inman, and talked about the stress that comes with doing this kind of work every day.
It's cumulative, and it's not like it just wears off, and everyone has, in my personal opinion, has their own threshold of what they can handle. This isn't a job that you can do and not be affected by.
One of the ways these pilots deal with that is through volunteer work with the children at the hospital next door. There, military doctors treat many local Afghans, and these kids bring joy to men who have seen too much of death.
So every time I look at those kids, I see my kids.
Without a doubt, the hardest thing is being away from the wife and kids. But all you have to do is see the Afghans and how they're struggling and how they're trying to better themselves and their families, and you realize that this is something that needs to be done.
I get a great sense of satisfaction out of what I do. I wouldn't say that I thoroughly enjoy it. There's some very unpleasant things about my job, but every day when I go to bed at the end of the night, I know I've saved lives.
And as for me, I can say that after this mission, Veterans Day has taken on a whole new meaning. Chuck Holton, CBN News, Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan.